Okay, so here we are at the accommodation where we'll be staying for the ibogaine treatment. Such a beautiful view. Which would be the best place to do so. Yeah, such a perfect place to do it, and we've got the actual restaurant where we're at the moment. Yeah, unfortunately we can't eat anything except for fruit. So apparently it affects the stomach acid along with the ibogaine. So it's going to be a bit difficult, living off nothing but fruit, no meat, no protein. Well, that's the price you got to pay for your health and a bit of sanity, a bit of peace. So now I'm going to ask Victor a few questions, and he's going to basically explain to you guys what it is, what it does, a little bit about his experience and what he got out of it. I'm planning to get a little bit of my sanity back. I plan to just break away from the mundane day-to-day of addiction, as well as there's a lot of questions I have, and partly spiritual as well, but mainly getting well, enjoying life, and just breaking free from this vicious cycle that I've had for so long. I think it's going on 20 years being an addict. So I'm at the point now where I don't see any other options. From what I've heard, it's got about an 85% success rate. So we'll see what happens. But here's Victor with some more information about it. Okay, all right. I'm here now with Victor. He runs ibogaine Thailand, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what we can expect and some of the emotions and feelings we go through. Victor, so tell me a bit about actually how it works and what is ibogaine for a start.
Well, I mean, ibogaine's a African shamanic plant medicine that's basically been used for forever in one aspect or another, but most recently it's mostly in conjunction with the opiate addiction interruption properties that it has. And it does this in a couple of different angles. It does attach to opiate receptors. It cleans them out, turns them off, however you want to look at it, which a lot of other medicines do. You can get, a naltrexone implant that'll do that as well, but the problem with the naltrexone implant is that's all it does. It just turns off the opiate receptors. The thing that makes ibogaine so effective is that after it turns off the opiate receptors, it then also goes very deeply into the subconscious, and it roots out the old programs. So it's hitting it psychologically, physically, spiritually. It's doing everything. It's not just tackling the addiction from one aspect. It's actually getting to the core of the addiction and getting rid of it. And that's just one aspect of it too. I mean, it's really effective against other addictions as well, and just mostly against the opiates, but we've seen it do amazing things for cocaine and alcohol, and the addiction that it seems to have the most problem with actually is cigarettes, which some people it does take it away from, but it seems like it's like a roll of the dice with the cigarettes. And some people do it not even for any addiction aspect at all, because it does have a very strong spiritual aspect to it. that shows people their direction if they're lost and don't know what they're supposed to be doing here, or depression and anxiety and a whole slew of mental issues. That
or just for a peace of mind. Yeah,
peace of mind for sure, because it definitely gives you that and removes any unnecessary fears for sure.
Right. So who actually introduced you to it, and what was your, how serious was your addiction, and who introduced you to the ibogaine?
My introduction was from a guy named Joshua who was actually doing it on Samui. He had ibogaine Asia years back, 3 or 4 years back. At the time, I was an ayahuasca shaman on this island, so that was my main function, was working with that plant medicine.
Did you do the rituals? Did you do
the whole ceremony?
Okay.
Yeah. That was my main aspect to what I was doing, along with some alchemy and some other things. But he had that going on over here, I had this going on over here, so we basically collaborated, because we wanted people to do both medicines, so we would send people to do both medicines. After an ibogaine session, do some ayahuasca,
Okay.
Because they complement each other very well. And I used to do that for people here, but now I've given up on the ayahuasca because it's illegal. So I didn't want to deal with anything illegal anymore.
Right.
And he eventually wanted to go to Bolivia or some other place like that, so he basically kind of left the space open for me to move from ayahuasca to ibogaine, which was a very natural shift and one that the ayahuasca spirit assured me was the way I was going to be going, so I just followed what spirit told me.
Why do you think that ibogaine's so controversial at the moment? Why do you think that it's banned in the US and other countries? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, it's just very obvious why it's banned. It's banned because it works, and it's very effective against the medicines that big pharmaceutical companies are trying to pump down people's throats every day. Well, not trying, they're doing it. But, I mean, we can get people off of methadone, Suboxone, we get people off of their antidepressants, all this pharmacological bullshit that they're putting into people's bodies that are maybe doing what they're supposed to be doing, but are also doing a lot of harm in the process, and keeping them addicted to a whole different kind of medicine that's maybe not doing their bodies that good or their minds that good.
Right.
So now you have this medicine from Africa that can come in and in one treatment eliminate somebody having to take these pharmacological medicines for the rest of their lives. Maybe one treatment, maybe 2 treatments. Sometimes it takes more than one. But that doesn't really bode too well for pharmaceutical companies who are making billions and billions of dollars off of feeding people these medicines.
So they've got too much to lose, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's no need to take these medicines. All the medicine is out there. It's in. Food is medicine if you eat the right medicine. There's a cure for everything in nature, and that's usually where these medicines come from to begin with. They start off as a plant-based medicine, and then they figure out how to synthesize it and turn it into a chemical that they can sell.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about your past and what you had a particular issue with, and some of your experiences taking the ibogaine itself?
Yeah, I wrote a really long testimonial after my last ibogaine session that I posted on my website, but it was actually about 14 pages, and I scaled it down to 7 for the website.
Okay.
But for me, before I got involved in this, I was pretty much just a large-scale marijuana producer and dealer in America for a lot of years, debt collections, a lot of years, just living normal life stuff, but also being a very strong psychedelic explorer and doing a lot of psychedelics and stuff. But basically my main addictions were marijuana and sex and money. That was my big ones. And for me, my last treatment of ibogaine completely eradicated all of those. And I was a little bit scared about losing those as well going into it. Those were the 3 that I actually didn't want to lose. But going into my journey, the last thing I asked was for Spirit to take away anything that wasn't for my highest and best good. And I left it open. And then it showed me in my journey why those things, especially those 3 things, it showed me where they came from. It showed me why I did that, or how they affected my whole life and every relationship in my life, and then it showed me exactly what these addictions would do.
Okay, so it's Wednesday, and I've just arrived at one of the bungalows I'll be staying at, and treatment starts tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Yeah, there's a few things I need to work out about some anger issues and stuff like, depression and emotions and also obviously a lot of the drug use as well. I need to find out why. I've got so many questions that I need. It's a really nice guy, Victor. He runs ibogaine Thailand. We're in Koh Phangan, one of the islands. I'm with my mum, so that's going to be interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I just met someone that had finished a treatment and he had a really good experience, and hopefully I have the same. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so it's Thursday morning, about 8 o'clock. We've got Victor here to supervise the whole situation. Now, Victor, what do we have to have first? What's the first thing that we need to do as far as take for the nausea? What do we do?
Yeah, we just take we'll be taking the anti-nausea pretty shortly here, in a few minutes.
Okay.
Then just waiting for that to settle into your stomachs, and then full dose shortly after that, about 30 or 45 minutes.
Okay. And can you explain a little bit about the dose that I'm on?
Oh wow, look at.
What have you got there?
Rainbow.
Oh, that's
It's
beautiful.
the first time I've seen a rainbow on Koh Phangan.
You know what? Rainbows are...
There it is.
Wow.
Huh? How about that?
Beautiful.
How about that? That's nice.
That's kind of crazy because we've always thought that you can't get rainbows on Koh Phangan. They said because of the way that it sits in the sea.
Well, you've
I've
proved
never
them
seen
wrong.
one. I mean, technically that might be over the sea, but still cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Where were we?
Just explain a little bit about the dose that I've got.
We gave you a max addiction for addictions, which is mostly HCl. We added a
So
little
what's
bit.
HCl? If you
That's the purified form of ibogaine, basically,
Okay.
the most potent form,
Okay.
and the one that's normally most effective at eradicating the opiate addictions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the other part of it?
The other component was some TA, which is the total alkaloid. It has all the spiritual alkaloids. We threw in a little extra of that for you, so you can have some of the spiritual side of it as well.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I'm outside, just getting a bit of fresh air. A bit nervous. Trying to get a bit of fresh air before I go through a potential 15-hour ordeal with the ibogaine. Here are the pills I'll be taking. Just like Victor said, rid the body of opiate addiction, and also give me a bit of a spiritual component as well. They're just capsules, just have the powder in them. So I'm going to get ready to go in and take them, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so it's about 15-20 minutes, possibly more, into the dose. My withdrawals are really strong. My nerves are twitching, my muscles are aching, nose is runny. That's just the main thing, I can't stop shaking. I'm slowly drifting off into a dreamy kind of floating, which is kind of cool, I suppose. It's just a gradual sort of thing. It's kind of strange. Yeah, well, I'll see how it works, and see you in a bit. Okay, it's about 6:30 in the morning now. I've been lying in bed for the past 24 hours, hallucinating, having fucking terrible, violent dreams, but I was actually there, and they were fucking disturbing. I didn't realize how much hate that I had in myself. Having dreams, having hallucinations, like, you know, about Hitler and Hitler's armies, and the Rwandan massacre, and I was there, and I was in jail and prison, cutting people up, or watching it happen. And my body was under constant stress. It was fucking horrible experience, but it was interesting. It was very interesting. It scared the fuck out of me. It did. The shit that I saw that came out of my brain was, I had to see it. I did have to see it to realize how bad it actually was, so I could then start repairing a lot of the damage that I've caused throughout my life to myself and other people. So it's an eye-opener. I'm still not 100% right now. As far as hallucinations, no. It's as far as cravings of the morphine and the Trammel and the heroin and the ganja, the weed. I didn't have any major withdrawals. That seemed to be quite interesting. I didn't go through any violent twitches. Shit, there's a bug on my arm. You see that? There you go. Anyway, yeah, I didn't have any major issues with that withdrawal, which is, thank God. So it made it a lot easier. To be honest, I didn't really come into the mindset. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, and I got more than I bargained for. So now that scared me enough to keep the fuck away from that shit, because that is damaging. And I never knew. So, as far as pain, I've got a little pain in my legs, and I'm really lethargic. I haven't eaten for 2 days, possibly more. I'm extremely dehydrated. When you actually take the ibogaine, you can't actually mix that. You have to have it on an empty stomach, so you can't have it with anything. And you can feel it just in your stomach. And I vomited a couple of times, but it's really peculiar because you can't open your eyes, you can't talk, you can't move. If you move, the world just shakes. You just literally have to stay there and fucking deal with it, and really deal with it, which is fucking hard. And I'm sure people that do want to try this will probably get a bit scared. So that's definitely scared me enough to keep away. I'm going to have a really fucking good go at this. I'm going to have a really good go at this and quit fucking about. Alright, so I'll give you an update later on this afternoon. And then, hopefully get to go home. Peace.